Hey everyone, and welcome back to the X-Ring. We're out here in Erie, Colorado. I'm out here with Chris Way. You guys might know him from Rifle Craft or the Kraft. He really needs no introduction. We also have none other than Kenneth I with Desert Precision Gunworks. So what we've got in store for you today is we're going to do a head-to-head comparison against the Panthera. This is the 700 series. It is topped off with an Apex Rival scope, and we're going to shoot it head-to-head against one of Kenneth E's DP Gunworks 22s. And this is going to be a V22 by Vudoo. It does have the Mueller Works barrel on it, so we're going to compare this, and we're going to do a 50-yard zero. And what we're going to do is we've got a target set up where we're going to do 3 5-shot groups each with the Panthera, then 3 5-shot groups each with the Vudoo. And that's going to be at 50 yards. We're going to look at that and establish a standard for that, and then we're going to try it at 100 just to see how the Panthera does. Now, we did do some shooting yesterday just to get these things dialed in. We had Frank Galley here with Sniper's Hide, and it was just so windy yesterday. It wasn't even a comparison that was even going to show anything. Anything you want to add about that, or anybody you want to tell thank you to for that rifle?
Yeah, man, we want to thank Utah Air Guns for sending out this Panthera to beat up and see how it works. Thunderbeast for their bipods,
yep.
And Apex for sending out 2 scopes to be able to compare, contrast, and talk about.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Kenny?
Yeah. So this is a 90-degree Vudoo, like you said. It is a used action, but a new barrel. Now, this has not been shot, so we're going to see true performance right out of the gate. And like you said, both Apex rivals, pretty much apples to apples.
All right, let's get this underway. All right, so that you guys know what we're looking at, what we're going to do is start off with the Panthera. We're going to do Chris first, 5-shot group, and then he's going to move to the 22. You can see it off to the left, the DP Gunworks, then he'll do a 5-shot group. So that way he gets Panthera, Vudoo back to back. And then we've got Kenny will do the same thing, and then myself do the same thing. This way, if there's any variation in wind over the period of time while we're doing this, we should see it amongst the shooters. So this should be a good test. Here we go. All right, folks, so the way we're gonna do this is Chris is going to shoot on his target. You guys will see it, it's the top left target. He's gonna shoot 5 shots on the Panthera and then immediately go over to the DP Gunworks and shoot 5 shots. That way his section is done. Let's say the wind starts to kick up or change on us. That's okay, because then Kenny will go next. He'll do the same thing, 5, 5, and then I'll go last 5, 5. We'll look at it at 50 yards. Let's see how they compare. All right, so we're not going to spot. You guys are going to see this real time. We're going to have Chris on the top left target.
Whoa. That first one was way left.
All right, so he's done with his 5. Now he's going to move to the V22. And he is going to actually shoot the one right beneath that target with the DP Gunworks. Go ahead and shift a little over more towards him. Now he's choosing to shoot it this way, whereas I'm probably going to go prone, and I don't know what Kenny's going to do. Push forward more. All right, so that's 5, right? That was 5.
That's fine.
Thought that was 5.
The first shot out of this was left.
Okay.
An inch.
Yep.
And then the rest of the 4 went in a small group.
Okay.
And then all of these went in a small group.
You think it was a clearing out of the barrel or something possibly?
Well, the gas was low.
Yeah.
And I had refilled it.
Okay. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll omit the first shot. We'll omit the first shot.
It was a good shot.
Okay.
It just went left and the rest of them went in the hole.
Because when I did this with Brady, Brady did clear out that first round that wasn't in there after a charge. You know, he just blew one down range.
On the pre-fill before.
Got it. Yeah, so we won't count that. So because of that, we're just going to omit that one. That's fine. We'll see how it goes. And then next up is going to be Kenny. All right, so now we got Kenny set up on the Panthera, and he is going to charge it, do his best 5-shot groups. I will tell you, the wind has picked up a little bit in the 5 minutes that it took us to switch over to this table and get everything ready to go. So this should be a fair comparison. He'll do his 5 with the Panthera.
All right. There's a wall. There you go.
It's actually pretty smooth, man, the way this thing feels. First time shooting a Panthera.
All right, don't charge it. I'll take this off, and we'll just switch you over to the Vudoo. Man, that's called service right there.
That is service right there.
Bringing caddies to the rifle world.
That's right.
And I'm going to be the far green, right?
No, you're going to come straight down from the gray.
Gotcha.
You're center.
Ready?
Yep.
Pull out my aiming spot.
Show off.
Ooh. Little flyer.
All right, so now that you're done with your string, Kenny, what were your thoughts on that Panthera? That's the first time you've actually shot one of those in an air gun. What do you think?
So it's got a different feel, like there's like a little delay on how, I don't know if it's, I'm hearing the air rushing in or what, but it honestly, comparable to like a Vudoo or just a 22 in general, I could see where it could perform. However, the Vudoo did outshoot from what I could see on this video.
Okay, well, we'll definitely check it out. They got to see it. So now I guess I'm up next, and then what we'll do is let me do this at 50, and then we'll move these out to 100 yards. All right, so my turn. I'm going to shoot the green on the top right, and here we go. It is absolutely horrible. Now this is the worst of all 3 of the groups that you guys shot. All right, I'm gonna leave it just like that. All right, thank you. As I really truly was trying to make the best group I possibly could, but it didn't turn out that way. All right. Nothing out of the circle. Yeah. All right. So I think this is kind of definitive proof. And before all the air gunners start complaining about that Panthera, like I said, this thing was tuned. I know that you actually shot like a 0.5 with that Panthera at 100 the other day. And you guys might say, well, you got to tune. You know, the thing is how much can you tune before a stage or during stages? Everything was tuned and it was dead zero when we started this. So what we're gonna do is just move the target to 100 yards. Let's check it at 100. All right, so now we've moved the target to exactly 100 yards. Wind has picked up significantly. You guys can see it here. We are not going to change much as far as our point of aim. We're gonna aim center, and wherever the group hits, it's where it hits. We're just looking for our best 5-shot group. So here's Chris at 100 yards on the Panthera.
There goes the wind.
All right, now Chris is gonna move down a target and go to the 22. Alrighty, so that's the 5 shots. We couldn't see the groups, so I have no idea how he did. We're gonna go over and switch to Kenny. All right, so now Kenny at 100. It has calmed for just a moment. He is ready to go. So 5 shots with the Panthera.
Bottom right looks like. I hit bullseye. To the right. Bullseye.
Nice.
Oh, no, that was top right, sorry.
Okay, I'll take the rifle. Don't charge it. Well, just go ahead and charge it and shoot it. Don't shoot it at that. Yeah, there you go. All right.
That was a sky load.
Do you need to reload this with air, or are we good? Yeah, it's below now.
Yeah, I'll charge it for you. Do you want me to wait for sound?
Hold on. Now go ahead. You're good.
We gotta swap magazines too.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's about 16 rounds before it charges.
You're good to go.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Alright, let's see what she does. Dope's about dead on. According to Chris's shots. That's high. There's 2 in the same hole. Is that 3 in the same hole?
All right, so here we go. Bullseye. Actually, not that bad of a group. Probably going to measure about 1.5 inches. Let me go ahead and hand this to you. Thanks, sir. And then we'll go over to the Hey Kenny, can you look on the back of the camera to make sure that thing's on record, or that you see record in red?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. All right, now we will go to the Vudoo. Interesting thing about this Vudoo, guys, this was not broken in at all. This was a brand new setup for Kenny. We're just using SK. So it wasn't like it was cherry picked or anything. As a matter of fact, it was put in the stock 10 minutes before we did the video. So here we go, 100 yards. Way left. I think the wind switched on us because that's at the edge of the box. I'm not going to change anything. Yeah, we have a right to left wind. Okay. So that's going to measure about 1 inch or so. We'll go up there and get a measurement, and we'll get your thoughts on this stuff. However, there is a 2.5 inch steel at 200 yards. So what we're going to do is we'll do 3 shots each. We've already got the rifles doped. We know that they'll both hit. So we'll do no specific order. We'll do 3 shots with the Panthera, then 3 shots with the 22, and let's see how we do for distance. All right, so 200 yards at a 2.5 inch steel. It is on the back berm. We do have a camera on it down range. So here we go. High. High right. Impact. So 1 out of 3, and remember we had just doped these in a moment ago. It's actually a tough shot. I mean, you're looking at something that's barely over a minute, and
yeah, 200.
We're trying to beat this storm, so we are rushed a little bit. All right, here we go. Just underneath it. Impact. Impact. So 2 out of 3. All right, so because we're trying to beat this crazy storm over here, he gets 3 shots and only 3 shots at the 200 yard, 2.5 inch steel.
Okay.
All right. You're gonna have to close the bolt.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it.
Okay, got it.
I can see wind. Impact. Impact.
All right, guys, so that ends the test. Chris, your initial thoughts. What did you think about this whole test?
50 yards, things look pretty even. 100 yards, you could see about I want to say, I haven't seen the paper, I haven't seen their groups. I'm going to guess that the Vudoo was about a 1/4 inch better overall for all 3 shooters. But then Kenny and I went out and shot it at 200 yards, and you know, it was 3 and 3, but they were equal. Yeah. So, and it was at a 2-inch target at 200 yards, which means that I would be more comfortable continuing this test for another day or two to eke them out and see the pros and cons, you know, in this 200-yard range. So hopefully tomorrow we can come up with day 2 of the 20.
Maybe a 300-yard test or 350.
Yeah, this being the first time actually shooting that Panthera, it was pretty neck to neck. I was actually surprised. 200 yards, you know, even I drop shots didn't get an impact at the 200-yard mark, but the Panthera did. So again, we need more data to conclude. But as of right now, it looks like it's neck to neck.
So guys, my thoughts on it are, you know, I've had 2 days to spend with that Panthera 700. We were able to go to a scuba place today, get that tank filled. It cost us $12, which is actually pretty cheap. We are shooting the Zan 30.5 grain slug. And at 50 yards, I think the 22 is going to win, no doubt. At 100 yards, just like Chris said, it is about a 1/4 inch difference. Now, this was us having this thing tuned in the beginning and not messing with it again in between videos. At 200 yards, it was almost equal. That's what I kind of saw with this. And so I think Chris is right. We need to continue this further, and I think you can absolutely be competitive with something like this Panthera. I think this is a better representation of what these air guns can do over, let's say, an M3, you know, one of the FX impacts that way. But I'm impressed with it. Now, realize you are looking at about the same money. You're looking at about $3,000 for each setup. We did try to make it as fair as possible. The same Apex scopes, the same Thunder Beast bipods. The only thing that was different was the platform. So I guys hope you enjoyed this review. If we can do more tomorrow, we will. We're gonna try to beat this storm. If you haven't checked out Rifle Craft or the Kraft on YouTube, check them out. And then also, big thanks, you guys know Desert Precision Gunworks, check him out. We're getting lightning. It is time to go.
It's fun to compare rimfire and it's fun to compare an air rifle, but I think that having seen what happens on the internet, I want to make a couple observations that's just strictly my opinion. One, we've got an air rifle that has a rough tune to it, and it's shooting 22 grain slugs, you know, at a pretty stable velocity. And I have always had the stance of a shooter's capability as it goes out to distance doesn't have to be one hole, because so many other tolerances stack. And so I think that the ultimate precision of the air rifle is good enough to perform to a certain distance, but we haven't got to the ballistic capability of the group size that we've seen and the ability for us to tune to have a specific velocity. So we've got a very low SD of potentially a larger group. Now, I'd never shot this 22 before, but it had never been shot and there was no ammo that was picked exactly. And my hunch is that what we saw at 50 yards was that the gunsmithing and the precision that it was put together, it was able to produce one whole groups with whatever we put in it. And that's not a testament to the ammo, that's testament to the build. And what we were seeing at distance, rather than that, is we're starting to see the ballistic. So we didn't measure the SD, we didn't measure anything. And my guess is as that 22 opens up, if we find ammo that has better SDs, all of a sudden that would out edge it. We weren't able to do that, and so comparing it apples to apples isn't quite fair without saying that there are other variables that play into this.
For sure.
And some people go, well, one hole, and they don't worry about ballistics. And some people say ballistics make that hole a little bit bigger and it goes. Well, at some point there'll be an inflection point, and we haven't seen that. What we saw was a perfect rifle with imperfect ammo, and then we saw perfect ammo with potentially an imperfect group. We're kind of maintaining a 200-yard distance, but like Ray said yesterday, 22X or 22 rim or NRL rimfire, it's about the 200-yard range. But when you take that distance to 350, 400, now you're gonna kind of need to have both. Yeah. And we haven't done that yet, but we will tomorrow. And I think that's where we'll be able to answer questions that we can't answer here because we're seeing it coming in from two different directions. That's my opinion, but both were capable. And if you were going to shoot a 1 MOA target inside of 200, you couldn't really compare the two because we were holding, 1 MOA or two. If you were going to shoot 2-inch targets from 25 to 200, they were both neck and neck.
Yeah.
So it's hard to split hairs without real data.